Organ harvester Myung from North Korea. Even strict country of North Korea has a serial killer. The most notorious case was Bang Myung-sik's case. In 1990, April to October, he made a serial number of 12 females aged between 14 to 17 years old, ordered to eat their livers to cure his cirrhosis. Cirrhosis is a severe scarring of the liver, and the serious condition can be caused by many forms of liver disease and conditions. Park has been living as a factory worker in Singpo in North Korea. His colleagues describe him as a very timid and quiet person. Park was diagnosed with cirrhosis. He was getting treated by a famous doctor at a larger hospital in Hamhung, but treatment had no effect on him. He was suffering from painful pains. He heard from his coworkers that there is a really good shaman that could help him with his issues and might help him cure his illness as well. He thought, this could be my last chance to be cured. As the religious practices are forbidden in the country, they quietly proceeded to introduce him in secretly. When they went to go see the shaman, he told the shaman that I'm suffering from cirrhosis. It hurts everywhere and pain. None of the treatments has been working. I know I'm going to die, but if there's a way to live longer, please tell me how. From the first meeting, Park was holding on to the shaman's arm and begged him. Shaman refused at first, but he felt bad for Park. Then Shaman told Park, come see me in few days. Few days later, Park went to go see the shaman. The shaman told Park, you have to eat a human liver. Liver. That's the only way for you to live. Younger, the better. Park got frightened by the prospect of killing people. He returned home and thought it over. Will I really get better if I eat human liver? I want to live, but thought of killing someone. I can't. Thought of killing someone put him in fears at first, and there's no way he could do that due to having a quiet and timid personality. But as his conditions grew worse and worse over time, he decided that it would be better to try than to die in suffering pain. In North Korea, every spring and fall year, junior high and high school students are mandatory to go help out in the farm with the farmers. During the spring, they're out there for 50 to 60 days. During the fall, they're out there for 20 days. Usually they work 6 a.m. to 6 p.m., but if there are lots of work to do, then they work until late night. Students usually get separated to 2 to 3 students in groups and sleeps in the houses of the farmer homes and eats with everyone. And if there is way too many students that year, some students get sleep in the dormitory there. This is the way of North Korea. Park would go to the villages searching for students aged 14 to 17 who were dispatched to work there. He investigates during the day and makes the crime at night. Since the students are doing labor work all day long, due to the tiredness, as soon as they eat dinner, they would go to sleep. Around 10 p.m., after kids are asleep, Park broke inside a dormitory, latched himself onto a sleeping 15 years old, putting his hand over her mouth, then stabbing her with a knife, and he was carrying the bleeding girl out of the building, and Park was frightened off by the barking dog, was forced to flee, leaving the dying student behind, who died from her injuries on the following day. The citizens who lived in that village had no clue why murder had happened, and everyone was super in shock. Few days later, 4 kilometers away from the first murder, they found severely mutilated body of another student. First murder had only stabbing with the knife marks, but the second murder was crucial. There was X mark on stomach area and all the organs been played with. And yes, the liver was gone. The Singpo City Police Department was alerted to the discovery, but despite investigation, they were unable to identify or catch the criminal. Instead, some suggested that it might be the work of ghosts. A few days later, after this incident, the body of a woman in her 20s was found in downtown Singpo, bearing the same injuries as the previous victim. Due to the police incompetence and lack of necessary investigative technology, Park kept continuing to kill people in Shingpo and surrounding areas, claiming an additional 9 victims. The killings caused a panic among the residents who refused to go out at nighttime. 1990, April to October, Park makes 12 murders. During the 13th murder, the girl screamed really, really loud, and when he covered her mouth, one of the citizens spotted by the vigilant citizen who immediately apprehended him and brought him to the police station, and he was arrested on the spot. In October 1991, Park was brought to the trial. Park confessed everything at the trial. Following his confession, the shaman was also arrested and charged with 15 years in penal colony, which he served out in full and was released in 2006. He was then deported to another province, and his further fate remains unknown. Park was pleaded guilty to the charges and was convicted and sentenced to death. That same month, he was executed by firing squad. Usually, North Korea don't like to announce any murders or any news to media, but this case was different. It was so crucial that it was on some of their newspapers and the news on TV, and that news got carried on to South Koreans, and South Koreans found out about the murder case as well. Organ harvesting Myung case serial murder case is the most notorious case in North Korea.